good evening, everyone. Just about 7 o'clock. I'd like to call the meeting of July 20th, 2026 of the Plainville Town Council to order. If everyone could please stand, I'm going to ask Councilwoman Tompkins to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thank you very much. Tonight's agenda, we do not have any presentations or public hearings scheduled. We can move right to item number 3, minutes of the previous meetings.
Mr. Chair,
Councilman Getterman.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the minutes of the June 15th, 2026 special and regular meeting and the June 17th, 2026 special meeting.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Are there any comments, questions, any changes?
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
I need to abstain from the June 17th vote.
Okay.
Do we need to do them separate? No, okay.
All right. Okay. Any other comments, questions, changes? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item 4, announcements and reports. Are there any announcements or reports this evening?
Mr. Chair?
Yes, go ahead.
Yes, on the 4th of July, I did have the honor of representing Plainville at the ceremony at the state capitol in Hartford. Every town and city in Connecticut was sending a representative. We all signed a document recommitting to the principles and values of the Declaration of Independence. And it was a lovely ceremony, and once again, I was very honored to represent Plainville.
Thank you. Anyone else with any announcement or report?
Mr. Chair,
Yes, go ahead.
I'd just like to acknowledge the Plainville Volunteer Fire Department on the evening of July 4th into July 5th. In about a 36-hour span, they answered 81 calls. Most of them never went home for that 36 hours, and including a mutual aid to Southington. I think they really deserve our deepest gratitude for that evening.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you. Anyone else with an announcement or report? All right, we can move on now to item 5, appointments and resignations. We do have one appointment this evening for inland wetlands.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, Councilwoman Buchanan.
motion to appoint Donald Scholes of 9 Dominic's Court as a regular member to the Inland Wetlands Commission.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Do we need to have a term ending?
It's not in the notes.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I don't mean to put the town clerk on the spot, but. Oh, you know, it's probably right here.
No, it's not.
Okay. Thank you. All right, any other questions, comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Any other appointments or resignations this evening? All right, Mr. White, anything you want to report on the Board of Ed? I know we're in the middle of summer, but it is the 3rd meeting of the month.
Sure, I'd be happy to give you a quick update. You want me to go over it?
Yeah, that's fine. Just, hit the button when you get there.
Just so we can hear you.
Yeah, 'cause we'll have trouble hearing you otherwise.
Yeah, I am really happy to report that the progress is pretty much underway on the renovation of the middle school. The bids did come in. They did come in a little bit higher than we had anticipated, but they've been working on that right now, and they're getting those so that it looks very positive that the bids will come down and will be within the budget that we had established prior to that time, and the work is progressing along. And I think the superintendent is planning to have a groundbreaking sometime in August. I think the information will be out on that. Answer any other questions if anybody has any.
All right, any questions, comments for the chair of the board? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so we'll move right now, moving right along. Item 7, report of the town attorney. Good evening. I know
Good evening, Mr. Chairman.
had some discussion about putting this discussion, and it should be the June 15th meeting, not the June 17th, but that's more of a housekeeping issue, but yeah, we had, and I don't mean to take your time, but we did have a couple citizens who came forward, and at our last regular meeting, we did appoint a fifth member to our Ethics Commission, apparently through, just I don't want to say a mistake, but we actually had 2 applications. Only one was forwarded to the council before we actually took that vote, and it was just, question was asked, should the council just reconsider what we did based on the fact we didn't have both applications in front of us when we actually took the vote. So that's kind of the lead off of where it is here. I'm going to let the town attorney just talk a little bit about, if we decide to move forward, how we would do it, and how, if we feel we need to rectify something, how we go forward. So
we had a discussion about that, exactly what you've just described, Mr. Chair, and I took a look at Robert's Rules. I took a look at the 11th edition. And my opinion is that under Robert's Rules, you would be able to make a motion for reconsideration at the next regular meeting, which would be tonight, since the 17th meeting was a special and couldn't have been on the agenda. And it would have to be made by someone who voted in the majority to reconsider, which, since it was a unanimous vote, it could be made by any one of the counselors, since they would have all been in the majority. So whoever makes the motion would then, or should, give some explanation for the grounds for it, why there should be a reconsideration, which you've kind of explained that there was another application that wasn't considered, but I would leave that to the maker of the motion. And then if the council decided to reconsider, then you'd have a vote, reconsider, and then when you reconsidered, then you could decide what you wanted to do. And I will tell you that I don't want to suggest how these things are done, but many times courts will grant motions to reconsider. That's something that they will do. And then the judges will then affirm what they've done. So that's always an option. Sometimes they change their mind to write a new opinion. But those are the options that you have. Obviously, the court one is not a perfect analogy, but it is one where many times, if there's something that was amiss, then you reconsider it and then decide what to do. So that's basically the procedure. I relied on Robert's Rules for that, but I think that's pretty standard. And I didn't see any other rules of the council or that would overrule that process.
okay. All right, so, I think at this point, just one follow-up question. If we want to formally reconsider, we decide, yes, we want to have a discussion and reconsider. If the decision is not to change the decision we made at the last meeting, we don't necessarily need to have to take another vote to reappoint that person. Does that make sense?
It does. It does make sense, and that's exactly correct.
Okay, so we can reconsider, but if we don't wish to change what we did on June 15th, we would not necessarily have to reappoint anyone.
I agree with that.
Okay. Does that make sense? So I think, we were asked to reconsider.
Yep.
So the first thing we have to do is decide, after some discussion, we're going to decide, do we want to reconsider that appointment? I would, based on what we've said, we need to just reconsider based on the fact that, we acknowledge that there were 2 applicants,
Okay.
at the time that we voted. So to me, we need to acknowledge that we did have 2 applicants. And then a second decision would have to be made, does the council wish to change the way they voted on June 15th?
Okay.
Which, it sounds...
That's correct.
It sounds like something that we're
That's
just
correct.
learning.
And if you did, then you'd have another vote after that.
Correct. Okay, so I just wanted to kind of frame it that way. I think what we'll do now is, does anyone have any comments, any thoughts that they want to share? Yes,
Mr. Chair?
yeah.
I would like to actually make a motion to add to the agenda the reconsideration appointment of Beth Graves to the Ethics Commission on the June 15th meeting for all the reasons you just stated. We didn't have all the information.
Okay.
So that's not really, Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
That's not really a reconsideration if you're just reappointing someone that was already appointed.
I didn't say that.
You said Beth Graves.
I said the
You stated her
reconsider.
name, you did not say the other applicant's name.
He
She wasn't,
Oh, go ahead. You should.
the other applicant wasn't appointed. So the only motion I can make
Oh,
is
I
to
see.
add to the agenda the reconsideration of the
Oh, I
appointment of
see.
Beth Graves.
Okay, sorry. I
Yeah, so
misunderstood.
what we're doing,
Thank
so
you.
what we're trying to do right now is to put on the table or get on the agenda the fact that we're going to formally reconsider what we did on June 15th, and that was the appointment of Beth Graves to the Ethics Commission. So is there a second to adding that to the agenda?
Second.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed to reconsidering? All right, so now what we have in front of us is the reconsideration of the appointment of Beth Graves at our last meeting. So is there any comments or questions? You all, in your packets, you do have both applicants. Right, I know the one that wasn't in front of us is in our packet for tonight. So when you went through that, you should have seen that application there. Any comments or questions from anyone regarding the reconsideration, whether you want to move forward with a new vote, or are you comfortable with what we did the other night, or the other meeting?
Mr. Chair, I'd like to make
Yes.
a motion to reconsider the appointment of Beth Graves to the Ethics Commission on June 15th.
All right, so we have a motion and a second now to actually reconsider it. Any comments or questions?
I do, because
Yes.
I think that since the other applicant, Bethany Brenner, was received 9 days prior to Beth Graves' application, and she is highly qualified for that position, I mean, much more qualified than any of the other commissioners that are even already appointed to that, I think that Bethany Brenner should be considered for this position, strongly be considered.
All right, and let me just, why don't we just, for purposes of what we're trying to do, from a procedural standpoint, all we're trying to do is, do we want to actually pass a motion to reconsider the appointment?
Didn't we already do the,
We just added it to the agenda. Now we actually have to vote on what
Right.
we just added. So a motion was made to add
it's just the reconsideration.
reconsideration of the appointment. Now we're voting on whether or not we want to reconsider formally. So I'm just gonna, all those in favor?
Aye.
Yes. All right, so now any nays? All right, so now we have voted to reconsider the appointment of Beth Graves at our June 15th town council meeting. So now we can open it up for, I don't mean to put you on the spot, Councilwoman Tompkins, but do you have more comments regarding how you think we should proceed?
I'd like to make a motion to consider Bethany Brenner for this position. I've already stated why.
That's not on the agenda.
Excuse me.
So, again, now, this was
If I
more
may,
for,
Mr.
I'm
Chairman.
not really looking to entertain any motions. What we're looking for some discussion.
We already voted on, there was already a motion put forth, and it was already a vote on it. So now I'm making another motion.
Okay,
So am I wrong?
yes, but in order for you, the motion, we would have to, if you wanted to reconsider another name, you would have to actually get it added to the agenda first before we actually considered a motion on another person. And I know it's technical, and I hope everyone's keeping up with me, but, I was looking more for some discussion at this point about reconsidering what we did at the June 15th meeting, but if we're going to do anything or take any more votes, it actually has to get added to the agenda before we actually vote on anything. So I just want you to take a step back and clearly, you'll be recognized, if you want to be recognized, I'm not trying to shut you out from any discussion, but I think what I was looking for is just some discussion based on the fact that we have decided to reconsider. So is there anybody that wants to?
Mr. Chair, I have a
Yes.
question. I want to make sure that I'm on the same page.
Yep.
So reconsider, we're only talking about Beth Graves in this moment, is that correct?
Correct. Yes,
We're reconsidering her appointment only.
correct.
Follow-up question, how do we reconsider her appointment without talking about what Councilwoman Tompkins is
We
looking
can
to
discuss it. We certainly can discuss it. It's just a matter of, now is not the time to make a motion to appoint this other person. We would need to add that to the agenda first and then actually take a vote on whether or not to appoint.
So why, when the motion was made, why wasn't it
Which motion?
the motion that Councilman Gedam made.
Well, he made two, the first or the second one.
The
They were the
second
same.
one, why weren't both names included in that motion?
Because we voted to reconsider the appointment of Beth Graves to the Ethics Commission at our June 15th Town Council meeting. That's what we're reconsidering. That we voted on, we are now reconsidering that appointment.
So, Mr. Chair, how
Yes.
does that lead into the discussion of that we should have had at our last meeting, which was to consider both candidates?
If I could, Mr.
Yes,
Chairman,
go
just
ahead.
from a procedural point of view, I understand Councilor Tompkins wanting to make the motion. I think that the best way to characterize it is that when you're deciding whether or not you're going to reconsider this, that Councilor Tompkins may believe that the qualifications of the other individual should lead you to do that. So instead of making a motion, I think that she's actually just arguing in favor of the reconsideration because there should be a different result in her opinion. That's how I would characterize it from sitting here listening to her. And I understand what you're saying with regard to the motion. That would only happen if you decided to reconsider so that you reconsidered your appointment so that that original appointment was no longer valid. Then you have an open field and then you could take them both. But we're not there yet. You're at the point now of deciding whether or not you want to change that,
What we
right?
did at the previous.
You've already said we're going to take another look at it. That's the original reconsideration. And now you're at the point of do we want to change that or not, and you can debate that. And if you decide you want to change it, then you go to the next one where you actually decide what's going to be with formal motions, which you'd have to then put on the agenda again.
So, I mean, Councilor Tompkins, or Woman Tompkins, I'm sorry. If you want, like, now's your time. If you want to talk about the other applicant, you certainly now is, you want to make your case, you certainly can do that. This is an appropriate time for you to do that
Okay.
if you want to continue.
So I already have stated that I think she's highly qualified for this position, much more so than any of the other applicants. And I think that she should have been given strong consideration for this position in 9 days prior to Beth Graves applying. So,
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
I'm not at the point of debating the resumes at this point, but at the last meeting, I asked specifically how many candidates did we have before us to take that vote at the last meeting. The answer and response I was given was 1. Therefore, we proceeded to vote. Had we known that there were 2 candidates on the table, we would have had a very different conversation. The irony is not lost on me that this is a conversation around an ethics commission. I think that this is very, very important, and one candidate did have their application in 9 days before the application that we are now reconsidering. I think that we need to look at this entire process, considering that this is very important. It is the ethics commission, and it was a mistake that happened, that person's resume was not put before us to have a proper discussion and to have a proper vote.
Well, now's the time we can have that proper. What you consider a proper discussion. You can have that now if you would like to. No, she didn't. She talked procedurally. I'm talking specifically about the issue on hand. Do you want to advocate for one or the other? I don't.
At this point, I think that we all should be having the conversation that we were having the night before, or the last meeting. I think that we're establishing a commission, and had this been, and just for the public's understanding, we had this commission, it was in name only. We had a commission, but there were no members on this commission. I believe it had been dormant for years.
Oh, 20 years, yeah.
20 years, right? So technically, just to give people backstory, why were we piecemealing the applications to begin with? Because we were looking to have a commission formed to handle an ethics complaint. That's why this is happening, and to have this commission formed. So what I think we need to look at as a council is if we had 5 applicants put in front of us with 5 resumes in front of us where we could had a conversation about 5 people and then decided the very best fair and balanced 5 members, the highly qualified, but that didn't happen. So we piecemealed it, and regardless, and I don't want to throw anyone under the bus, mistakes happen, but yet another mistake has happened and it has big consequences. So here we now sit, and it sounds like we're going to end up with the same result we did last time. So I just want to make that very clear to the people watching this tonight. We can debate their qualifications all day long, but in my humble opinion, the Ethics Commission has, I don't think we're off to a very good start.
All right, anyone with a comment or question?
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
the reason we're here tonight is to make sure we follow the proper process. There was 2 applications in, we only knew about 1. The timing doesn't matter. If you're arguing out of both sides of your mouth, that the timing of the application matters or the qualifications matter. It can't be one, it has to be one or the other. It's
No,
not
it can be
both.
It can be both.
Well, the only thing.
Okay, so at what point in the history of this council, or any council, has the first application mattered? Who got it in first? I can tell you in 2021 or 22, whenever the Charter Revision Commission was appointed, I was the first person to have my application in. I was rejected. I think I was qualified. Why wasn't I on that ethics commission?
Because you didn't get 5 votes.
Right, right. But my application was first, so if that matters.
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
No, I agree with that. I don't think we have ever, and I've been on the council for 10 years now, I don't think we ever use the order in which applications come in as a criteria for who gets selected. Certainly, like in hiring people, you hire the best candidate, not because somebody's application was in, 2 days before. However, I do want to say I am certainly in favor of reconsidering. And I think it is important from a procedural and doing things in proper order, that it is important to reconsider.
I think the reason why that was important to me, as well as her qualifications, was that no one knew about it. She was 9 days prior to, and we only saw the second application. We never saw the first one, and she had been languishing out in, Never Land, not being seen by the council. I think that's why it's important. Excuse me.
Okay, Mr. Chair?
Yes.
No, I agree, that was a serious matter. We didn't see it, but we have gotten both applications since, and we are, I think, agreeing to reconsider the appointment.
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
And to add to the timing of her application coming in, there was no meetings between the time her application came in and June 15th. So there never would have been a chance for us to vote on it.
No,
So,
but
so the timing of the applications doesn't matter. They
But-
both came in before our council meeting.
And you still only saw one, the last one.
I'm not arguing that point.
Okay.
But that's why we're here tonight.
That's why we're here tonight.
I think formally, based on what we've approved so far, we're formally acknowledging that we have two applications in front of us. Do we want to make a change to the appointment we made at the last meeting? As far as languishing, I don't think her application languished. I mean, it was, I think the point is as applications come in, the next regular council meeting is when they get acted upon, if they need to be acted upon. So, your point that we didn't see it before our last meeting is valid, and that's why we're here tonight and why we've decided to at least have this discussion. When an application comes in, I mean, that's just, certainly if we can talk about a process where that is weighted more. I don't think that's the right way to do things, but, and I do have an issue with this piecemeal comment that was made. We constantly, if that's your definition, we constantly piecemeal appointments to boards and commissions. We just appointed someone to inland wetlands. Like, rarely do we, unless it's probably a special committee, like our 250th anniversary committee that's going on right now. And even that, we've made a couple adjustments already to add some people to that. So, we rarely do we actually appoint all the members of a board or commission in one meeting. And the reason we did appoint when we did is because of potential ethics complaint coming in. We didn't do anything differently than we do on any other board or commission. I just, I thought the point was valid that we should have had, or at least we should have had the knowledge that there were two applications that should have been considered at the last meeting. And, I just want to formally acknowledge that there are two, and that, we have a decision as a council whether or not to consider appointing someone different or just sticking with the decision that was made. And, unfortunately, you do need 5 votes, and we all understand, some of us have been shut out of appointments before, as Councilman Gettleman just said, and it was strictly based on, the party makeup of the council at the time. And, I'm comfortable with the people we've appointed, and including the applicant that's in front of us tonight that we didn't have in front of us at the last meeting. They're all qualified. I don't have any problem with the qualifications of anyone that we've appointed or that we're considering to appoint. So, we can argue who's better, who's got better credentials, but in the end, it's a council decision, and you need to get 5 votes. So, in the end of the day, that's what we're going to decide is, as a council, what we want to do. So, I just don't think they were treated unfairly. I think it was a mistake that was made, and I think we're sitting here tonight trying to at least acknowledge it, and at least acknowledge the fact that there were 2 applications. So, yes.
Mr. Chair, I have a follow-up. At one of the meetings, I did directly ask if it was, and this was after the meeting, why we were appointing only a certain number. And it was explained to me that it was because this commission already existed. So that's why I mentioned the piecemeal, just for clarification, because it existed in name only, but there were not members. And it was also explained to me, had we been establishing a new commission, that we would do it all together, most likely. That is why I am saying that, because we are in a gray area. We have a commission in name only without any members on the commission. So that's why I made the piecemeal comment.
And there's no gray area to this. I mean, we made it known that we were looking for members of the Ethics Commission. We were looking for applications. And we, at every council meeting that we had, do we have applications for this, or do we have an appointment to make? And I think the first time, and I don't remember in May exactly which meeting in May, but I believe we had 3 people who had applied. We appointed them. I think a 4th person came at the 2nd meeting of May. We appointed that person, and this 5th person, we took up on June 15th. So it wasn't like, as applications came in, we considered the applications as they came in. I think it's just this last one that we should have had the ability to see that there were 2 applicants for this last position on the Ethics Commission. So I don't think we did anything wrong necessarily the way we appointed people. It's the way, we get applicants, we consider them, and if there's vacancies, we appoint them. I mean, it's the way it's been done forever. So, I don't think there's a gray area here. I think it's very simple. We should have had the application in front of us on June 15th. We didn't. Tonight, we're acknowledging that there is a second application, and we're going to make a decision whether or not we want to change the decision we made on June 15th.
Mr. Chair, I have a follow-up question, and it was the second question that I asked at the last meeting when I asked if we had any other applications. The second question, I don't know if it was myself or another council member that asked it, but it was asked at the time what the party affiliation of the Ethics Commission was. And I believe the party affiliations were read at that time, because I know that we are always looking to have fair and balanced commissions. So that is the second level question. So can we please revisit that?
Yeah, and it's just minority representation. On all our boards and commissions, we do have to have what's called minority representation. And it simply means that no one party can have more than a bare majority on that board or commission. And I believe, I can't remember if it's 2 unaffiliated, 2 Democrats, and 1 Republican as it stands right now.
That's exactly what it is.
Is that it?
At the time, you had 2 unaffiliated, 1 Republican, 1
Democrat.
And then the appointment of Beth made it 2 Democrats and 2 unaffiliated and 1 Republican.
Yeah.
Does that answer your question?
It does. Thank you. I think it's an important point that all of the questions and discussion that would have happened, that should have happened at the first meeting, actually take place.
And, Mr. Chair?
Yes.
Yeah, I just wanted to reiterate, perhaps for the purpose of, we're here in a public meeting and making it clear that not only we are acknowledging that there are 2 applications, we did in our packets for this meeting receive the application of both applicants. And I know I certainly, I'm sure everybody else did too, did review them very thoroughly, so.
All right. Any other comments or questions? All right. At this point, I guess the question now is, do we want to make a change from what we did at the June 15th meeting?
We should, really, excuse me, Mr. Chair.
Yes, yeah, go ahead.
We have to be clear about what the motion should say.
Well, and
So if I could recommend, the
Yes.
motion would be motion not to change the appointment of Beth Graves,
if that's what,
Does that have to be?
if that's the motion that you want to make.
It would have to be added to the
Do
agenda.
you have to add that to the agenda?
You're not changing it.
that would have to be added to the agenda first, and then we would have to make the motion to act on that motion, yeah.
Yeah?
Correct.
Mr. Chair, I'm confused as to how the town attorney knows we're not changing it. We haven't taken a
Well, no,
vote.
I think he was just using it as an example, and I don't think he's assuming what we're doing.
You could make, so that's a good point, Councilor Buchanan. So you can make a motion not to change the appointment of Beth Graves, or you can make a motion to change the appointment of Beth Graves. To rescind the appointment of Beth Graves, because you're reconsidering. So those are your 2 choices. And then if you do rescind, then you can go and decide if you want to have, you can reconsider hers, Beth Brenner, as the other person's name. That's the way you could go, depending on how you decide to do this. But those are the motions that you would make, depending on what the result you were looking for was.
Do either of those need to be added to the agenda first? Or can we just make that motion?
No. You already did the reconsideration. You already added it.
Okay.
All right?
Mr. Chair.
Yeah.
I would like to make a motion to stick with the original appointment of Beth Graves to the Ethics Commission.
Second.
All right, so we have a motion and a second. Sure there'll be some comments or questions.
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
Yeah. No, I am, going to vote yes on this. I have had the chance to look at both applications. I am sure both persons would be qualified, but I think the extent of Beth Graves' experience in public service really, weighs a little bit more, and so I do not want to change the appointment of Beth Graves to the Ethics Commission. But I did consider the other applicant.
All right, any other comments or questions? All right, all those in favor? Aye. Any opposed?
Nay.
Nay.
All right, we have 5-2. You got. All right, is there anything else under the report of the town attorney this evening? Any
I have nothing further unless there's any questions from the council.
any questions or comments for the town attorney?
I do have a question.
Yes,
For the
go ahead.
town attorney, please. Mr. Town Attorney, can you please read aloud, if you know it, or explain to us as a council, the definition of a meeting of the town council?
With regard to the Freedom of Information Act,
Yes, and our bylaws.
with regard to, I don't have the bylaws in front of me. With regard to the Freedom of Information Act, it would be if you had a quorum, and it wasn't a caucus. If you have a caucus, then it's not a meeting. If you have a quorum, then it's a meeting. Unless you have grounds to go into executive session, or there is some other ground where it's not considered to be a meeting, but I don't have that right in front of me right now. Generally, if there's a quorum, it's a meeting.
Mr. Town Attorney, can you please define a quorum of the town council?
5 members.
How many?
5.
I don't want to I'm asking you because you're the subject matter expert.
5 members.
According to our bylaws, it's 4.
That's fine. Could well be. I didn't take a look at
Can't take any
them.
votes, though.
Ordinarily, well, I agree with that, but ordinarily, the rule of thumb would be to divide by 2 and add 1, but I
Fair enough.
did not look at the bylaws.
So, to my understanding, if there are 4 or more members of the town council, regardless of political affiliation, meeting, that would be subject to Freedom of Information Act.
I do not agree. That's a caucus.
Could you please
Members
describe what a caucus
So a caucus is members of the same party meeting. Members of the same party can meet. It's not a meeting. It's called a caucus.
Have you given us advice, sitting from that very chair several times, to be deterred from doing that?
Meeting in caucus? No.
Having 4 or more of us meeting strongly.
Well, if there's 4 of you or more meeting and it's not a caucus, then you're having a meeting. So you need to have an agenda and minutes. And so otherwise, you'd be violating freedom of information.
So our bylaws say specifically 4 or more members of the town council.
And I have no problem with that. I just,
That's
I
interesting
probably, if I
because we-
thought about it, I would have looked at it. And
Yeah,
I
it's
probably should have
interesting
remembered it
because
was
you've had a
4.
problem with it in the past. You had concern when we were standing on Hemingway Street and there were more than 4 of us, and you have warned us to be careful many times in the past when this has come up.
As long as it's not the same party, yes. If you have a quorum of the council that are from both parties, you're having a meeting, and absolutely, you'd have to have an agenda and minutes.
The town of Plainville, any gathering of 4 or more members of the 7-member town council is considered a meeting. This threshold is defined by the Connecticut Freedom of Information, which dictates that a meeting occurs when a quorum, the minimum number of members needed to conduct business, gathers to discuss or act on official town matters. Because the town charter requires a quorum of 5 members to vote and conduct official proceedings, FOIA rules apply to the quorum standard under this standard.
And FOIA rules specifically say that a caucus isn't a meeting. And a caucus is a meeting of members of the same political party.
I fully understand what a caucus is, and I also understand what our bylaws say. Thank you for answering the question.
So I'm going to cut to the chase. Like, what are you trying to get at? Because I really don't understand. I know you walked in on our caucus earlier tonight, and it can't be coincidence that you're asking about it at the meeting.
Well, we've asked, Mr. Chair,
Yes.
this is something that has come up several times, and the town attorney has warned strongly, regardless of affiliation. It's what I'm getting at is different answers at different times when it serves, and I just want to point it out. and
So
make
give a
it
couple
known.
examples, please, because I'd like to understand. Because clearly you're talking about a specific situation that you're trying to get to. What's that situation?
Well, there have been several situations.
Okay, name 2.
Sure. Tonight,
Tonight we have an agenda in front of us.
I'm talking about the quorum in room 302 that
Oh.
the people cannot have freedom of information based on what was discussed in there prior to this meeting, and it has happened several times before these meetings. I understand the caucus, and I'm being
I
clear.
don't think you do.
Oh, I absolutely.
I don't think you do.
Absolutely understand what a caucus is. And I also understand that I've asked this question in the past, and the town attorney has given a different answer and said we're forming ethics commissions, we're trying to do things correctly here, and I just think it's really important that we understand exactly what is going on. So I just wanted it on record that this is defined and that it is okay to have meetings before the meetings.
It's called a caucus. Will you stop saying meetings before? We are allowed to caucus. There are 5 of us. We are allowed to caucus. We are allowed to talk about town stuff in a caucus. We do it The Republicans did it when they had 5 people. This isn't something new. We're not doing anything wrong. We've been very careful about when we have had off-site meetings that we have an agenda, that we are, putting that agenda out in a timely fashion and following all the Freedom of Information rules. But the bottom line is we are allowed to caucus.
And that is a long-standing, I think it's according to state statute, Morris, yeah. Long-standing practice that is allowed by law, that members of the same party can meet, and it's not a public meeting, it's a caucus.
Thank you.
So, I guess thank you for bringing it up because it did need to be clarified, I guess. But, certainly we're not having any meetings that we shouldn't be having. We've, the administration and all of us up here, we're very careful about making sure we're doing things the right way. And, we would never purposely have a meeting that we shouldn't be having. We are allowed to caucus. It's allowed. And that should be the end of the discussion. I don't think there's anything further we should say about it. But, and again, I don't know who just, I heard someone not happy with that answer. But, the bottom line is we are allowed to caucus. I guess I don't know where we would go to change those rules, but it has been a rule that's been in existence for.
So it's Connecticut General Statute Section 1-200, paren 2, close paren. A caucus of members of a single political party, notwithstanding that such members also constitute a quorum of a public agency. It's not considered a meeting, it's an exclusion.
Thank you, that's very clear.
All right, any other comments or questions for the town attorney this evening? All right, we can move to item 8, report of the town manager. Good evening.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, council members. I have a rather long list of items, 9 and then happenings at 10, but I will tell you that item number 3 is one that we will not have to take action on. We received a letter from Attorney Galsky and on the subject matter of the Plan of Conservation and Development Open Space referral for 34 Ledge Road. The applicant has elected to terminate and withdraw her application to amend the POCD. So there's no action required or necessary on that. So I'll back to the top. Item number 1 is an update on the storm cleanup. We just initiated curbside pickup, roadside pickup for the debris with our roadways department. I'm happy to report that they've, I think, nearly completed quadrant 1 today and had started on quadrant 2 preliminarily, and so I think they're right on track. I'll have a better update tomorrow, but the initial start is that they were afraid they might be delayed depending on what they find in some of these areas that could have very large tree trunks, but that wasn't the case. They were able to get through, so we are on track at this point. I'm hoping to have other updates as we go through. So they've obviously made the roadways clear, and they're out there collecting branches and debris. And they will continue to move through those quadrants. We posted that on social media and the website to give residents an indication of how we are going to proceed through town. And we're just asking residents make sure that they get that brush if they haven't already there to the curb, and that they cut all limbs and tree trunks less than 4 feet would help in terms of our removal process. That is item 1. I can pause for any question.
Any questions? There is a map on the town website regarding what quadrant you're in, and essentially quadrant 1 is the southeast section of town, quadrant 2 is the northeast section or the Metacomet area, quadrant 3 is what I call, I guess, the northwest. It's the Wheeler School, and it looks like that area and the northwest drive, that neighbor Tafon as well. And then quadrant 4 would be the southwest portion, I guess, to the west of Route 10 as you get towards Pagliacci's and down towards the Southington line. But it is online. There is a map, so if you are questioning what quadrant you're in, you can go to town website for the map. All right.
Right, item number 2 is the White Oak redevelopment project update. The town received notice from DECD that our Round 23 municipal brownfield grant application has been funded in the request amount of $541,000. This latest funding will address the demolition of the former office building, which fronts West Main Street, and supplemental hazardous building material sampling, assessment, and reporting by Tig and Bond, who will continue to serve as the licensed environmental professionals through the remediation effort. With news of the funding, Manafort Newport Realty will work with architects to finalize the site plan for submission to planning and zoning as they continue to pursue their planned development district designation. Their goal is to have this done by the fall. An amendment to the sales agreement between the town and Manafort Newport Realty has been drafted, which extends the timeline for the deliverables, i.e. P&Z site plan submittal, to the end of the year. This was done to provide ample time for all aforementioned efforts, but more importantly, for Attorney Boria and Attorney for Manafort Newport Realty to review the sales agreement, draft any foreseeable contract amendments, and present them to the town council, as was requested in the February 17, 2026 meeting, and a resolution regarding the future development of this site. It is anticipated that this effort will commence by the end of summer, with amendments presented in the fall, allowing for approval and execution ahead of the current end-of-year deadline. And there is an item under new business to approve the amendment extending the timeline to the end of the year.
All right, any comments or questions?
Mr. Chair,
Yes, go ahead.
is it way too premature to guess when the building might come down and the fence goes away?
Yeah, it is early.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we've got a little bit more work to do. Hopefully summer will give us a lot more,
Okay.
determination or our path forward on that and
Okay.
timeline.
Thank you.
But does it look like this is a little different than where we're waiting, or the developers waiting for DEEP to okay the cleanup of the land? This is a different, we don't have to follow the same process that we're waiting for now with the cleanup, correct?
Right, the cleanup is going to come a little bit later and has already been, I think, outlined and discussed
Yeah.
in this process. So this is now the moving to execute the front half demolition and remediation, and then likely of 2027, we should have hopefully shovels in the ground to remediate the soil in the back portion of the property.
But we would anticipate this is probably, the building is a sooner rather than later
Yes.
scenario?
Yeah, with hopefully, again, this track line of trying to get to P&Z in the fall.
Okay.
To get them to review the site plan.
Okay, thank you. Any other comments or questions?
Mr. Chair, I
Yes.
have a comment and a question, please. Before I make my comment and ask my question, I need to ask the town attorney a question. Would that be okay?
Yes.
Is,
answer it.
thank you. Are legal opinions confidential?
Sometimes.
Are they confidential only when you note them in communications to us that it's a confidential communication? Is anything that you send to us, I don't want to do anything unethical. I want to make sure that what I'm going to ask is appropriate to be doing so in a public meeting.
Typically, when I have attorney-client communications, I will flag them and I will specifically indicate they're not subject to FOI disclosure.
Okay, very good. That's what I thought. I just always want to, thank you. That's my question. And then I do have a comment, and I was going to save it for new business when we formally had a vote, but I think it's important to just do it now and get it out of the way to keep the meeting moving. On February 18th, I did send an email to, I can tell you exactly who I sent it to. I sent it to the town attorney, the town manager, and to the entire town council. And I would just like to share it, please. This is my comment. Okay. Good morning. Our town code of conduct states that any town official or employee who makes decisions on behalf of the public shall disqualify himself from consideration of such matters in which he, his spouse, offspring, sibling, parent, members of his household, or employer will gain financial advantage or suffer financial detriment as a result of the decision reached. Last evening, I expressed my concern and understood that while I had used the term vested interest. Is often used in a financial or legal context. It also refers to a strong personal, emotional, or psychological stake in the outcomes of a situation, person, or cause. Came to my attention after last night's meeting that our former town attorney, Michael Mastriani, was under the opinion that Mr. Wazorko should not act, discuss, or vote on matters regarding the White Oak development. I'd like to see his legal opinion if we have one in writing, and I ask that Mr. Boria also provide his legal opinion. The people of Plainville deserve full transparency, and I appreciate your attention to this matter. At that time, I was, and thank you, I was given the previous legal opinion of Mr. Mastriani, and his opinion was as follows. This was provided on October 5th of 2020 to then Town Manager Robert Lee. I have been asked to give an opinion regarding the participation of Member Wazorko on the White Oak construction redevelopment bidding voting. As I understand the issue, Member Wazorko, through his sibling, is related to Manafort Brothers Co., and his company is one of the entities who submitted a bid on the construction project. Under Chapter 29 Ethics Code, Section 29-2, Prohibited Acts, subsection D of the Plainville Ordinance, it states that a or any town official or employee who makes decisions on behalf of the public shall disqualify himself from consideration of such matters in which he, his spouse, offspring, sibling, parent, members of his household, or employer will gain financial advantage or suffer financial detriment as a result of the decision reached. Because Member Wazorko's sibling could benefit from his voting on the construction project bid, Member Wazorko shall disqualify himself. Should Member Wazorko's participation in the voting process be necessary, his conflict of interest would need to be made public prior to his vote. And I will just finish it with Mr., and I apologize, is it Boria or Boria?
Boria.
Boria, thank you. And he was kind enough on March 2nd to send me his legal opinion. I write in reply to Councilor Buchanan's request regarding the vote taken at the last council meeting on February 17th, affecting the White Oak project. I have reviewed Attorney Mastriani's opinion and the decision by Chairman Wazorko to recuse himself from voting at that time. I agree with it. This issue was also raised by Chairman Wazorko and Councilor Christopher, because for those that don't know, now there are two siblings, not just the one in the original legal opinion. Those facts were different and did not, in my opinion, require recusal unless the individual determined that there could be an issue. The last vote taken was directed at whether the council would approve spending about $200,000 to provide a Band-Aid fix to the building, which would have to be undone in the future. The alternative was to try to negotiate an amendment to the contract, which would allow the town council to demolish the building, which could qualify for state funding. The vote was for which option to pursue. This was at the February meeting that we had talked about that. Under the circumstances, the town is the party which is seeking the financial advantage, and any benefit or detriment to any other party is too remote to require recusal. This is even more true when the sibling relationship complained of is once removed from the party, meaning the town, that might face some remote speculative financial impact, her husband, their sibling's husband. So he's making the he's separating it, right? And I'm just passing along information because I think it's important. The sibling at issue is not employed by the company and holds no position there. Further, today, given the proliferation of prenuptial agreements, you cannot assume that marriage status in and of itself confers with some net financial benefit. Accordingly, while I agree that the relationship may bear further examination and disclosure at the appropriate time, should the underlying agreement need to be amended, there was no legal requirement for recusal from the subject vote. I also agree that it was appropriate for Councilor Buchanan reason to publicly raise the issue. So we are aware of the concern going forward because the technical application of the ethics rule may be stricter than ordinary conflicts analysis. I think that this is important before we take any more votes on this issue, and I think that tonight's subject matter is on ethics, and I think that we need to be very, very clear, and I'm grateful to have both legal opinions read aloud, so thank you.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
in the same tone of what was just said, there's quite a few inland wetlands applications that we may need to take a look at, because there is someone on that board that votes for his brother's projects and shouldn't be.
Okay. I was not aware of that.
Yeah, it happened within the last couple of months.
Well, I guess, what I'll say, because clearly this, I'm not sure if you have a question. You did indicate you had a question. I'm not sure. Did you want to finish?
Thank you. The question came first, which was if it was all right for me to make my comment. So both were addressed. Thank you.
All right. I feel for the record, I guess to be transparent, this project's been in the works for a number of years. When it was brought to the town's attention, I did recuse myself. Councilwoman Christopher wasn't on the council at the time. I was. Based on the previous town attorney's opinion, I did recuse myself from any votes regarding the development of that property. So, I don't know. I kind of felt like you were insinuating something, that I did something wrong or that I wasn't being ethical. That's completely untrue. I saw the same town attorney opinion that you did. I followed it. We have had some changes to the plan in the meantime. That's raised some questions, and the current town attorney chimed in, and I think you read it perfectly well, that, as long as there's an acknowledgement that of my connection, I guess, twice removed connection to the developer, that, I can vote. And, I don't know if you're trying to set it up that I'm doing something I shouldn't be, but the case is it's the complete opposite. I've followed town attorney's advice, whether it was the current town attorney or the previous town attorney. I went so far as to even excluding myself from executive sessions when it came to the development of this project when it was first presented to the council. So I haven't been part of any decision on what development to go with. I haven't voted on any. I have voted on changes to the contract that have come up, but again, I refer to the town attorney's opinion that, I was, as long as I acknowledge my relationship, that it is something that I can vote on. So I don't know if we want to keep talking about this, but clearly I think Mr. White says no. But I just think for the record, in my defense, because I do think you're trying to throw some shade at me here, and I think, anyone who's going to go back and look at votes, that I clearly recused myself when it was appropriate and voted when it was appropriate. So
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
I don't like the response game, but I'd make this comment to the public.
Well, some
I'm
call
not
it
trying to
communication.
throw shade on anyone, for those that might not be of our generation that know what that term is. My job up here, I'm elected by everyone, and my job is to do my job. So that's what I'm doing. When I ask questions, I'm doing them to get the right answers. Everything that I say seems to be interpreted through a lens. My job is to do my job, and that is what I'm doing. I'm asking questions and I'm giving information that is important. It's our job. So it is no intentional shade against you, Chairman Wazorko. It is a concern of the public, of whom I represent, now that we now have two siblings up here. So I'm just simply doing my job.
But would you also publicly acknowledge that I have followed town attorney's advice regarding this matter?
I don't think, I just read both town attorneys' opinions. It is not my job, I am not an attorney, to determine that. It is my job to let the public know what is going on. And I asked a question publicly in a meeting, and I wanted to give a public response because on our agenda tonight is a decision to vote again. And if you notice, the conversation that we had in February, if you really want to take this conversation to the next level, was about $200,000, and now we're talking at over $500,000.
Mr. Chair, I
Yes.
think what the wording said, I know that you claimed that the wording stated that you're able to vote, but it said if it's needed. And what it means by if it's needed is if we don't have a quorum without your vote and Councilwoman Christopher's vote, that we wouldn't have a quorum to vote on it. And I think we would because we have everyone here tonight. So
Yeah, I don't think that's the,
I
think you're misreading
that's what the
that.
wording said, and I respectfully request that you and your sister, Councilwoman Christopher, recuse yourself from voting when this motion is made tonight.
There's no financial.
Well, and that's fine. I mean, technically, if we want to get into the technical aspects of this, right now the town owns the building. This is something that the town is authorizing to have done. I just don't think, and based on the opinion we got back in March, I mean, I just don't see how it's not ethical or not appropriate for myself or my sister to be voting on a matter such as this when, we're simply altering a plan that was already voted on.
Right.
This isn't something new. This has been part of the plan. What we're trying to do is take the building down now because we have the opportunity with the funding to take it down. The building's unsafe, but
I'm not making a statement on what the motion is going to be. That's not what I'm doing, and I'm not giving any opinion on that right now because the motion isn't on the floor. I'm saying that when this motion comes up, because it involves family, to you and Councilwoman.
it doesn't. It's
Christopher,
something between the state and the town.
Right.
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
Just to give some background, going back to the initial days when we were considering what to do with this parcel of land, that was formerly the White Oak property, and we actually did a request for proposals, where we actually asked for proposals from developers or people, actually a builder submitted one. And at that point, after evaluating them, we did have to make the major vote to whom we were going to choose. And I believe, Chris, that was the vote you recused yourself on. Yeah. And I think to which Attorney Mastriani was referring. The kind of thing we're looking at tonight is very different. It's extending, a timeline.
It's changing the contract for family member
Yeah.
to the chairman and the Councilwoman and Councilwoman Christopher. Changing the contract. It's amending the
It's
contract
amending the
to
contract,
Manafort.
correct, but it's
That's
to
exactly
extend
what it is, Rosemary.
But it's to extend a timeline for the deliverables. It's, okay.
Correct.
You could, yeah.
I mean,
So if I could, Mr. Chairman,
Yeah,
just
go
want to
ahead.
be clear, and I do appreciate Council Buchanan reading all the opinions, but during the reading, I want to make sure that we're not losing the meaning of it. The thrust of my opinion with regard to the last vote was that there was no real financial impact with regard to Manafort, that the town owned the building, that we had a liability there, and that going forward with the agreement that we had and leaving the building up would only be to the town's disadvantage. This was entirely, the town owns the building. The funding we already got. We're not voting on getting the funding tonight. DECD approved the funding, the $540,000. That's been approved. So for that particular vote, I didn't see the impact. For tonight, I'm changing the timelines. Once again, the timelines have to be changed because the project can't be completed given the demo, the change in the plan. Now, there could be an indirect impact, very indirect, in that if you don't change the timelines, then they can't do the project. And so then the whole thing will fail, and that would be probably the consequences to that would be not good for the town, probably not good for Manafort either. However, that isn't the major, there's no money being spent here. This is just a question of, got to get the planning and zoning plans in by the end of the year, December 31st, because of the change in the plan. That's what this is. Now,
You're making an assumption.
it's difficult for me to give an opinion, given what the last one was much easier to do, because it was the town building. It really was not an issue, in my view, that was going to impact Manafort, in my opinion. The financial impact was far secondary and speculative, as well as the family relationship with regard to that. So on this one, I wish I'd had more time to have been asked the opinion. Once again, I don't see this as having a direct financial impact, but there is clearly the potential for that, because if the vote is no, then there's going to be an impact. So I don't know what else to say. I mean, looking at the yes vote, there's real no impact. But on a no vote, there is going to be an impact. So that's all I can tell you from my point of view on this.
Thank you.
I mean, I don't know from a timing perspective. I mean, if you want to formally ask for an opinion from the town attorney regarding this, I would certainly allow it. I mean, I'm not gonna.
That's fine.
If people want to make sure that we're acting the way we should. Is that, someone give me some direction?
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
just to clarify with the town attorney, you don't see an issue if the vote is yes,
Right, I know.
but you do see a possible issue if the vote is no.
Yes,
Possible and indirect, yeah.
Yes, because if the vote is no, then the timeline stays the same, which will make it virtually impossible to get the plans in the planning and zoning. Then there'll be a breach of the agreement. So there will be an impact at that point, because then there'd have to be an amendment to the agreement, and which was what we're trying to do now. So that's why I think there's an impact if the vote is no.
All right, any other comments or questions? I mean, I'll say it once again. I mean, if there's a question on whether or not I or, Councilwoman Christopher should be voting on this, I mean, if you want an opinion from the town attorney, I would have no problem waiting for that before we acted on this.
That's a month.
It is a month, but, I mean, if that's a serious question that you want answered, I'm fine with it. Anyone
No, I don't.
here to chime in, or?
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
I don't think that it's necessary. I think he's made his point, made it perfectly clear that this isn't a financial gain in your favor, your family's favor. I don't see any reason why we should wait for an opinion.
And Mr. Chair, I really can't imagine that anyone on the council would vote to not, I mean, I can't speak for everybody, but certainly it seems there's compelling reasons to vote yes on this so that the project can continue, because we've committed so much time and resources to it already, and I think I would assume we all want to see it move forward.
Yes.
So I would, I'm making an assumption, and I don't know for sure, but I would assume that everyone, for the interest of, in what is the best interest of the town, would certainly vote for this to extend the timeline and have the project move forward.
All right, anyone else?
I will make a comment that yes, it is the town that is assuming all of the liability and cost. Thank you.
All right, anyone else? All right, so we are under the report of the town manager.
Oh, yeah.
It looks like we're up to item 4.
Correct, Mr. Chairman. We're skipping over item 3. Item number 4 is Wheeler School Project Update, and this is brief just to inform the council that the town, through the finance director, has completed and submitted the final paperwork to the state, our application for reimbursement. And we're just waiting from the Connecticut Department of Administrative Services, DAS, to see if they have any other questions for us or need any other clarification. And so that is in process.
And is this like the last bit we feel they're going to need to make, to finally release the funds?
I can't say for certain. I know Rob is here. He could comment if he wants.
wanna just nod?
He'd make
Nod
the
or-
connection.
They need to complete the audit.
Yeah.
Okay.
And there'll likely be questions, and again,
We'll have to follow up with the questions and then
yeah,
hopefully.
it's not. I mean, what we submit is it's not a submit and you
Right,
just
right,
turn
right.
around the check. They've got to audit, and then we're going to argue about what is reimbursable,
What's
and
reimbursable,
what's
yeah.
not reimbursable. And,
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll keep the pressure on.
Yeah.
Mr. Chair, can I ask a question
Yes.
on item number 3? Just for the record, can you please, or item number 4, rather, because we skipped item number 3. Can you just tell us, Mr. Paulus, what the amount is that's still owed on the Wheeler project and when the Wheeler project was completed?
The first portion of that, I can tell you, was we're seeking approximately 3.5 million in terms of reimbursement for the Wheeler project. As to the timeline,
Was that done in 2019?
Eight.
It started in 18, 19.
Okay.
It concluded sometime in 21, 22.
Okay.
Thank you.
That answers your questions? No follow-up? You're good?
I'm good, thank
Okay.
you.
All right, any other questions or comments regarding the Wheeler reimbursement? All right, number 5.
Item 5 is the reconstruction sidewalk project, our annual sidewalk project. And just to update you there, on June 30th this year, the engineering department received a total of 8 bid proposals for the sidewalk project. The scope of the project involves the removal and replacement of his existing concrete sidewalk on Fleetwood Drive and Hilltop Road. The bid proposals range in value from $115,000 to $330,000. The lowest responsible bid proposal was submitted by D&P Morea Construction of Ludlow, Massachusetts, in the amount of $115,675, and the engineering department has reviewed the submitted document and has determined it to be complete as submitted. Additionally, the engineering department has confirmed with D&P Moraes Construction that they are confident they can perform the work as bid, and the construction company has completed similar work in Plainville in the past and has previously demonstrated that they can competently perform such work as outlined in the contract. The engineering department deems the construction company to be the lowest responsible bid in the amount of $115,675. The cost of construction activities will be paid from the State of Connecticut Urban Grant Act funds. That the engineering department recommends the town council authorize the town manager to execute the contract with D&P Moraes Construction in the amount of $115,675 to complete the specified construction activities upon the submission of proper insurance certificate and construction bonds. There is an item under new business to award bid number 2027-03E, reconstruction of sidewalks on Fleetwood Drive and Hilltop Road to D&P Moraes Construction, Ludlow, Mass, in the amount of $115,675. Any questions?
All right, any questions? All right, guess up to number 6.
Number 6. Plainville High School theater stage floor replacement. The Plainville Community Schools Facility Department is seeking to proceed with the replacement of the stage floor in the theater at Plainville High School. The stage floor at PHS is original and has been sanded numerous times over the years. It is now exhibiting signs of dry rot, creating a safety hazard because of pieces of wood can break off and cause injury. Complete replacement is required. The total proposal for this work is $52,372.81, and funding for this project is available through the bond funds approved by voters during the June 2025 referendum, of which the Board of Education budgeted approximately $77,000 for this purpose. I'm recommending the Town Council award bid number 2027-05S, PHS Theater Stage Floor Replacement to Millennium Buildings, Inc. of Torrington, Connecticut, under the CRPC IZQC program in the amount of $52,372.81. And there is an item under business to make that award. Any questions?
No questions? All right, next.
Trash and recycling containers. The town provides curbside trash and recycling collection and disposal services to eligible residential properties. Those properties receive one trash and one recycling container per unit from the Building and Grounds Department. In an effort to continue to provide this service, the Building and Grounds Department is requesting the purchase of 416 95-gallon gray containers for trash and 156 95-gallon navy containers for recycling from Schaefer Plastics North America LLC for $35,831.84. Schaefer is the sole source provider of this equipment. According to the general code, purchases above $25,000 require a competitive procurement process. For this reason mentioned above, I'm recommending the council waive this requirement and consider this a sole source purchase as permitted in section 106-8 of the general code. And I'm recommending the town council waive the competitive procurement process and award bid number 2027-06, trash and recycling containers to Schaefer Plastics North America LLC of Charlotte, North Carolina, in the amount of $35,831.84. And this project is funded through the recycling line item of the fiscal year 27 town government budget. And there's an item under new business to award bid 2027-06, trash and recycling containers to Schaefer Plastics North America LLC of Charlotte, North Carolina, in the amount of $35,831.84. This is our, I'm sure the council remembers the last round that almost on an annual basis we do this to keep up and keep our inventory so that we don't run out, as these barrels obviously take a lot of beating and a lot of exposure to the elements, a lot of things we repair as much as they can, but some of them are just, get beyond repair and we just have to replace those.
All right, any questions regarding trash or recycle bins? All right, number 8.
8 is the police vehicle replacement funding policy. We discussed this through the budget process, and here we have a policy. The purpose of the policy is to establish a consistent, sustainable funding source for the replacement of police department vehicles while ensuring sound fiscal management, compliance with the town's purchasing code, and responsible stewardship of town assets. This policy is intended to reduce the need for large one-time appropriations for police vehicle replacement by dedicating a portion of the police special duty vehicle fund revenue to the town's capital improvement program. Revenue generated from the police special duty vehicle fee shall be allocated as follows. $25 of each $30 police special duty vehicle fee shall be transferred to the town's capital improvement program fund. 1100 police vehicle replacement account. Item B, $5 of each police special duty vehicle fee shall remain in the general fund to offset operating costs associated with the police department vehicles, including but not limited to fuel, insurance, maintenance, and other related expenses. The town council may modify this allocation as part of the annual budget adoption process based upon operational needs, projected revenues, fiscal conditions, or other relevant factors. And a copy of the full policy is included in your packet. I just kind of hit the main highlights of that. And there is an item under new business to adopt the vehicle replacement funding policy, but that's the nuts and bolts of it.
All right, any questions? I know we spent a bit of time during the budget season discussing this. Is there any questions or comments? All right, item 9.
Item 9, the holiday display update. Briefly, I'm working on a memo to present for the August meeting. I will include my directive to Building and Grounds Department to restore the holiday display at the Veterans Memorial Park. My memo will also include my thoughts and recommendations around secular items included along in addition or adjacent to the nativity scene when we restore that. And I'm working through that. Hope to have a meeting this week with Building and Grounds just to kind of get a sort of a measurement and look at the area by which we want to restore that.
All right.
Something to report, obviously, back for the August meeting.
All right, any questions or comments?
Mr. Chair?
Yes, go ahead.
I do have a comment to make. I guess it is a question is comment informed as a question. I just want to make sure for the record that we understand that a policy, as previously discussed, is not being created regarding the holiday display. Is that correct?
At this point, unless the council feels that that's what's needed, I thought there was general consensus that we would return the nativity scene, include secular. I think that was a general consensus. I'm not sure that we need a policy to direct them to do that.
Thank you.
All right, any other questions or comments? All right, I think that's
That's it. I'm going to hand off to Andy for the happenings.
Great. Thank you very much. I do have some happenings to report tonight from the Plainville Public Library. A reminder that it's not too late to sign up for the summer reading program, which is entitled Plant a Seed and Read. The summer reading program is open and available to all people of all ages. There's a children's, teens, and an adults program, and there's a chance for individuals to win some great prizes. In addition to the summer reading program, they have a robust line of summer programs as well, including on Wednesday, August 5th at 6 p.m. Acrobat Li Liu will be performing. This is a professional acrobat, which will be doing an exciting solo show at the library. An opportunity to learn about the Chinese language, geography, and culture, with opportunities for children to try ribbon dancing. Registration is required. On Friday, July 24th at 9:30 a.m., picture books with popsicles, enjoy stories, songs, and a popsicle in the library garden. If the weather isn't good that day, it'll be inside. You can bring a blanket or a towel for outdoor seating, and all ages are welcome. On Tuesdays, July 21st and 28th, and on August 4th at 3 p.m., a teen mural painting project will be going on. Teens will design and create a collaborative mural for the library's new teen space with professional muralists from 2 brushes. Registration for each painting session opens once per week, and attendance at all sessions is not required. And finally, from the Senior Center, and from all information on Senior Center programs, you can call the Senior Center at 860-747-5728, and all programs are free and open to the public unless otherwise indicated. The Veterans Social Hours on Tuesday, July 28th at 10 a.m. Join each month to connect and share stories. All veterans and their spouses are welcome. Harvard Healthcare Cancer Awareness Presentation is on Wednesday, August 5th at 2 p.m. Learn valuable information about cancer awareness, early detection, and prevention while enjoying an interactive bingo game. And finally, Senior Swim at Burner Pool is on Sunday, August 9th from 10 to 11:45 a.m. This is free for all Senior Center members or season pool pass holders. For non-members, it's $5 for residents and $15 for non-residents, and it's open to Plainville residents over the age of 60. They do ask to bring your Senior Center ID for free admission. And that's all I have to report on tonight for happenings.
All right, thank you. Is there any comments or questions regarding the happenings or the town manager's report?
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
I just want to mention again that this Saturday is the wingding that the police put on. So it's this Saturday at the VFW 5 to 8. Don't forget.
All right, thank you. Anything else before we move on to public comment? All right, thank you very much. At this point in the meeting, we are up to public comment. Anyone who wishes to address the council may do so. Please step forward to the podium, give your name and address. You'll have 3 minutes to make your comments. The first ring means you have 30 seconds left, and the second ring means the 3 minutes has run out. Yes.
Hi.
Just hit the button. Hit the button first. There you go.
I have some pictures and some documents I want to present.
And just your name and address.
My name is June Morrow, and I reside at 5 Rosemont Drive.
All right. Thank you.
Okay, and here. Yeah, thanks. So we're here tonight to request an urgent, aggressive code enforcement against a vacant residential property located at 26 Mountain View Drive. This is not a case of property owner struggling to maintain the home. This is a deliberate, systematic evasion of our local laws by an individual who is treating our neighborhood like a private junkyard. I believe every time this owner receives a warning letter, he performs the absolute bare minimum, like mowing the lawn, solely to reset maybe the enforcement clock. This token of effort does nothing to address the reality of what is happening on the lot. As you can see in the photographs I provided to the clerk, this property is being used for active illegal dumping. I know for a fact that these discarded items did not originate from inside the home, because when I was looking for a house, I saw pictures. None of this stuff is there. It's also a house on a slab. This is not coming from a garage. This is a calculated, repeated pattern. This same owner has a history of identical blight right next door in Bristol. One of the photos I submitted shows a notice from the city of Bristol addressed to him and his bank regarding blight cleanup. Though the document is in Polish, a translation reveals it's a formal notification. I've also reached out to the Bristol Blight Officer to find out how they manage this property, though I'm still waiting a response. You will also see printouts from the judicial website of the fines he's received. Letters and standard warnings are clearly not working. Mowing the lawn does not constitute compliance when active illegal dumping is taking place and creates health and safety and environmental hazards for the surrounding neighbors. This accumulation of junk is actively attracting pests. I never had these issues last year, but now I'm discovering animal burrows and wild animal scat appearing in my own yard, directly originating from neglect next door. I urge the council to direct our enforcement officers to bypass standard initial warnings and issue daily citations for waste accumulation and protect our neighborhood from further exploitation. Thank you for your time and your leadership, and some of my neighbors are here too that are also
If you're
concerned.
here from the neighborhood, raise your hand, just so we get a sense of how many. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Is anyone else wish to address the council this evening? Yes, sir.
My name is Roger Marquis, 9 Rosemont Drive, and I can see that house from my yard. And what's worse, he can see my house. All right? And there's a problem going on that I don't want to put out on the airwaves. But if somebody gives me the phone number, I would love to talk to you about it. It's that bad.
Okay. All right, thank you. Anyone else? Yes, sir.
My name is Pierre Plord. I live at 7 Rosemont Drive. Last year we had a problem similar. It was located on 6 Rosemont Drive. And that yard was also blighted. And the town eventually brought a dumpster down there to clean it out, but the homeowner never did anything about it. And in turn, all of a sudden in our neighborhood we started getting rats. So we finally got rid of the rats. We just don't want them to reappear.
Okay. All right, thank you. Anyone else from the neighborhood? Before I look, thank you.
Mr. Chairman?
yes.
If I could, just for clarification, the speakers on the neighborhood here, we're talking about, I want to make sure we got the 26 Mountain View Drive.
Correct.
Okay, thank you. And the last gentleman talked about 6 Rosemont. Is that still an active, open problem?
No.
No, okay.
That's been corrected.
Okay, so it's just 26 Mountain View Drive. I'll be happy to give you a card or talk after the meeting.
All right, Ms. Dennehy?
Good evening, Gail Dennehy, 28 Perrin Road. Chairman Wazorko, can I approach the town clerk?
Yeah, as long as.
Thank you. I'm just giving her a copy of what I'm about to say to you,
Okay.
to all of you. I wanted to speak about the process of selecting members of the Ethics Commission this evening. As you know, Bethany Brenner submitted her application and resume to the town manager's office on June 5th for review and forwarding to the town council for consideration. Unfortunately, although no fault of the town council, her application and resume were not forwarded for review prior to the council's vote to fill the 5th position on the Ethics Commission at the June meeting. Once it became clear that Ms. Brenner's application had not been provided to the council, I contacted Town Manager Michael Paulus and requested a meeting with him, along with the chair and vice chair of the Town Council. Taking vacation schedules into consideration, Mr. Paulus scheduled that meeting for July 9th. Michael Paulus, Kathy Puglisi, Chris Wazorko, Ben Getteman, and I attended. During that meeting, I suggested that in the interest of maintaining a fair and consistent appointment process for all applicants to the Ethics Commission, that the council consider revisiting its previous action of selecting that 5th member of the Ethics Commission. Following Robert's Rules of Order, the council could reconsider that prior appointment, review both qualified applications, and then conduct a new vote. This approach would ensure that every applicant receives the same consideration and that the integrity of the appointment process is preserved. Consistency in process is important for every board and commission, but it is especially important for the Ethics Commission, whose purpose is to uphold fairness, accountability, and public trust. Looking ahead, I also encourage the council to consider reviewing the town charter to determine whether the Ethics Commission should include alternate members, similar to the Planning and Zoning Commission, for example, and I'm sure there are other towns and boards. Having alternate members available would help ensure continuity and efficiency when vacancies or recusals occur. My comments are not intended to question the qualifications of any individual appointed to the Ethics Commission, but rather they are intended to emphasize the importance of following a consistent, transparent, and equitable process for every applicant. Public confidence in our boards and commission depends not only on who is appointed, but also on ensuring that every appointment is made through a fair and uniform process. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Anyone else wish to address the council this evening? Mr. Kisler?
Good evening, town councilors.
Good evening.
I have some opinions on that.
I know who you are, but not everybody does. Just
Don
your name and
Kislett,
address,
65
please.
Forestville Ave.
Thank you.
I was trying to stay anonymous.
Good luck,
I have some
John.
opinions on this code of ethics. The whole thing is bogus. You started completely wrong, like I told you before. Not to single out the town manager, but the position of town manager should have never handled any of these applicants. In my opinion, there should have been an application with the town clerk. They get it from the town clerk, and that application tells why they want to be on there, why they think they qualify, and that goes to the town council, and you give an end date of accepting applications, like a month. And that should go to the full town council, and they should be interviewed in depth by the town council. What you did, this commission, in my opinion, should be disbanded. From what I heard, they already violated their own code of ethics. The person's name, I'm not going to say it, was put out to the public who they're filing a complaint against. That's one of their basic things for code of ethics for the Ethics Commission. They violated their own ethics.
Can I just, I will give you a little extra time. There is, as of now, there is no formal ethics complaint before the town.
Okay, well, at one time there was, and it spread all around town that they,
Like you're talking 20 years ago?
no,
Yeah,
last month.
yeah. There has been no formal ethics complaint has been filed with the town.
Okay, well.
I know social media and stuff. Yeah, I'm sure you saw something or read
No,
something,
I
but
didn't see it on social media.
as far as the town's concerned, we haven't received a complaint
What I
yet.
was told, the person who the complaint was filed against got in touch by a person of this commission. And you ought to investigate that. If it's true, the commission should be disbanded. It's bogus, it's unethical, and it's wrong. You did it wrong. The town manager's position should not be sending people to you. The only place the town manager is mentioned in this is he can recommend to you the removal of someone from the commission. But this isn't like going for one of our regular commissions in town where he gives you a recommendation. His position is more subject to ethics than probably any other department because he has the most authority in this town. And that's where things can happen. Not saying that it would, but that's where ethics violations can happen. The more authority you have, the more you can bend rules. You bend them for one person, not somebody else. That's all I want to say. It's really wrong. But the other thing, I want to support our Planning and Zoning Commission. I mean, their responsibilities compared to you is like you guys are kindergartners. If you see in some of their codes and regulations, I see in one section of minutes where an applicant had 2 attorneys, 3 expert professionals on all forms of zoning, and they have to deal with all these codes, even like the one that was on tonight that got canceled. This stuff, you've got to wait 65 days, and then it's got to go to DEP, then it's got to go to this one, then it's got to go to that one. And I want to single out Jennifer. She is great. From what I understand, she's been on that commission for 23 years. You are lucky to have her, and she's been the chairperson for I don't know how many, but you were lucky you have her, and people have been bad-mouthing her. You know, you get these applicants that come and they have everything on their side to win their case, and you get the public who's really ignorant of the facts and the rules and laws, get mad at them and want them fired or something. And that's happened in a couple cases in town lately. So just sending out my support for inland wetlands too. They got some things going on in inland wetlands, and I'll talk about New Britain Avenue. You got a big shopping plaza on one side, all this big development on the other side, an empty piece of land that used to have buildings in it before, and you got people fighting it because there's a tiny little piece of wetlands that the applicant can solve. But I don't know. It's just crazy. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Anyone else wish to address the council? Yes, Mr. Soselski.
Dan Soselski, 33 Overlook Drive. It's been a heavy night tonight, so let's think about something pleasant. Let's talk about Christmas. I'd like to talk about one of my favorite subjects that come once in a while, and I know the town manager is going to come back in August with a plan. And a couple questions just to ask that we may not have an answer to it. Is there a budget that you guys going to have? Is this something going to be new out there? Are we going to be inclusive with some activities, with the religious activities, with secular activities? Will we know in advance some of the things that you're doing? So I hope that we are part of a process of knowing about it and being able to communicate some of our thoughts on it, and would appreciate that somehow we keep abreast of it. So yeah, I'll be back in August, and I'll bring my contingent of Knights of Columbus guys here, so we'll fill up the seats here. So I appreciate it and encourage you, and also understand that the Knights of Columbus would be more than happy to support whatever we could, whether it's financially to help out, or just a matter of the muscle that we have to do some work. So we're interested in it, and thank you. And we'll talk to you in August. Thanks.
And just to short answer, yes to what you asked.
Yep.
Some of the details haven't been worked out, but I know this council, based on our conversations back in April, we're 10 toes in on bringing back the nativity scene and also some secular, and we will, through the town manager's office, we'll look to define that and give some more specifics. But certainly you are welcome to come back in August. Happy to have you.
I'm glad to be invited.
Yes, formally invited.
Well, thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else that wishes to address? Yes, Ms. Charette.
He turned off the mic. Hi, Marilyn Charette, 18 Milford Street. I'm afraid to ask how you're all doing. But anyway, I'm going to keep it real brief. First of all, I wanted to let you know there's a pothole over at the entrance to the municipal parking lot again. So maybe y'all can take a look
Off of
at it.
East Main Street here?
Yes. Second of all, I want to know if you have any updates on fixing our railroads.
I was going to ask that too.
Yeah, if you don't mind, we'll give you a little extra time if you need it, but do we have any updates?
I don't have a update from my last comment, which is I'm hoping to hear from the Connecticut Rails Department on a scheduling of that. It will be done, I was told it will be done this summer. I was hoping for July. It may be August, but I'll certainly call back tomorrow and ask for a timeline if they have it. They're just my last conversation was that the railroad company was looking to bid it out, and I just don't know that they've finalized their contractor or selected a contractor.
Okay. Well, one of the reasons I was asking was the one over on East Main Street is getting worse. You really have to swerve over to the right to make it through with your car still all together. And last but not least, the Whiting Street markings that you have out there. You know, I go to West Hartford several times a week, and they have bike trails over there all over the place, and they keep them reasonable. This is ridiculous, and it's affecting businesses over there. I've told you that in the past. You took away parking for businesses on the road, and I don't think that that's fair. I think you need to address it. I don't know if any of you have bothered to go out again, but I really believe that you should. Okay? And on that note, enjoy the rest of your evening.
Thank you. Anyone else wish to address the council? Yes, Ms. Edmond.
Joanne Edmond, 166 West Main Street. First off, I'm going to say happy 250th for this great land for America. And don't ever forget that God Bless America. It's a great song. Google it. Not enough people sing it anymore. I'd sing it here, but there's not enough time. So many issues.
I'll give you more
so
time.
little
If you want to
time.
sing it, Joanne, I'll give you all the time you
So
need.
little time. I'd sing a song every time, but there just isn't enough time.
I mean, we can consider
I've got
adding something on the
15 under my
agenda for you
belt.
to sing if you want.
Anyhow,
Yes.
there's bigger fish to fry than probably what I'm going to say tonight, because there's all kinds of problems going on. There's still Metacomet, there's the ethics, there's this, there's that. I like to get into the nitty-gritty stuff. Now, we have a historic bell in this town that hung in the tower of the Broad Street School, and it's been stored. Is it still around? Is it missing? I thought that would have been a wonderful symbol to bring out for this 250th celebration. And by the way, that display they put on in Washington was absolutely wonderful. And the display that Connecticut put on in an empty booth down there in Washington on the National Mall was disgraceful. And the governor should get a good boot in the you-know-where for his dismissal of something that would have served this state in a very appropriate, good manner. I get a little excited.
We know. You're doing fine.
But anyway, where is the bell?
I don't
we
know.
Get it, find it, restore it, clean it up, and display it for its its once glorious prominence. It has a lot of history behind it, and it has a date on it of 1874. And I think that deserves recognition.
Well, we could certainly ask and see if
Well, yeah.
see where it is.
Where is
if we
it?
have it. I don't know.
Let's get it out. I think, you know, a bell is very important. It rings out in joy. It rings out for happiness. That's the same thing. And it also alerts us to trouble. But it's very important. And the history of that bell is it hung in the tower over there at Broad Street School. Well, the little sprats that got an A were able to ring that bell. I think that's important for education. And there's a lot of changes that need to be made for education too. I haven't got time to go into that tonight.
Okay, yeah, your time has run out.
I
You wanna
ran over.
You can save it for the August meeting if you want, Joanne. We'll be here.
I always do.
Is there anyone else who wishes to address the council this evening?
What?
Yes, sir.
I don't speak English that good, but I'll do
Do
my
your best. We'll figure it
I'll
out.
do my best. I want to comment on the
Just name and address first.
Regine Carrier from
Thank you.
28 Perrin Road. I take an exception to Mr. Ginneman about the vote that I made on the Wetland Commission. I believe it was one of my grandkids, not my grandkid, one of my brother grandkid. But I don't even remember if I vote for it. So just
You did vote for it, and you said it was your brother's project.
It's not my brother. I never vote for anything on my brother's project.
Well,
That's my grandkid. I'll be honest, that's the only one that built in Plainville, so I don't see how I can vote for my brother. So, but I'm a little offended by it, but I don't think you really did your search on it. You didn't really look at it. You just came back to Rachel because she brought some concern about Mr. Rosalco. Have nothing to do with that, just for you to know. She has the right to bring whatever she thinks is right.
And so do I.
What you're saying here is false. My brother I did not vote for the wetland on my brother. So just double check that.
We'll double check the record, but
Yeah, I don't know what it has to do with the
what it has to do with is she said that the rule is if it has to do with a sibling, you shouldn't vote on it. You should recuse yourself.
Sibling? I don't know what you mean by sibling, but maybe if my family is pretty big. So what exactly my record of that has to do with the town council here? So that's all I'm saying. That's the question. Maybe if first if it was my brother, I doubt then I would vote on it. Or anything that has to do with me, I would not vote on it. The only thing I can remember that I was involved is my brother's kid. That's all I can remember. So I just want to make that point. I think it's offensive, and I think I don't think it had anything to do with what we were talking about, that's all. And that very rarely do I speak in public or anything, and when I make a vote, I make it very, very ethical. There's no maybes and buts about it. So, and next time you have a comment, do it in the right situation and the right comment, and let's put it this way. And that's it. Thank you for listening.
All right, thank you. Anyone else who hasn't spoken? Anyone like to address the council?
Mr. Chair, I have a letter that we received. I'd like to read it for the record.
Thank you.
This is from Sandra Giannini, 87 Metacomet Road, Plainville, Connecticut. She was planning on being here tonight, but was unable to make it. Her Letter reads, "Good evening. First, I would like to thank the town manager, chief of police, town council, and everyone involved in addressing the traffic and safety concerns in our neighborhood over the past year. Since the traffic calming devices were installed, the difference has been remarkable. My security cameras are recording well over 100 fewer vehicles each day, and traffic is moving at much more reasonable speeds. For the first time in a long time, I can honestly walk out to get my mail without worrying about being clipped by a speeding vehicle. Thank you for listening to the residents and taking action to improve the safety of our neighborhood. My second topic concerns the Planning and Zoning Commission. Please watch the last Planning and Zoning meeting on Nutmeg TV beginning around the 1 hour mark. I believe what follows raises serious concerns about the level of understanding and preparation demonstrated during that discussion. According to State Representative Rebecca Martinez, she invited the chairperson to meet with her and DEEP representatives to discuss environmental issues, and she told residents the invitation was refused. To me, that is simply not acceptable. Planning and zoning commissioners make decisions affecting our environment, our health, our water resources, and our quality of life. When an opportunity is offered to learn directly from state environmental experts, it should be welcomed, not rejected. I appreciate that commissioners are volunteers. However, serving on one of the town's most important commissions also requires preparation, learning, and informed decision-making. The residents of Plainville deserve nothing less. Thank you.
All right. So that completes public comment for this evening. And once I get caught up here, we can, under old business, we are not going to discuss the canal this evening, so we can move right to item 11, new business. We won't be taking action on item number 2, so we'll start with 1, obviously. Is there a motion?
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
Okay, a motion to approve and authorize the town manager to execute the 10th Amendment to the Land Disposition and Development Agreement between the town of Plainville and Manafort Newport Realty, LLC.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any comments or questions?
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
I, again, respectfully request that you and your sister, Councilwoman Christopher, recuse yourself from voting on this item.
Okay, any other comments or questions?
Mr. Chair, are you
yes.
able to break out the amount?
Break out the amount?
The amount, the dollar. I know we're extending the timeline, but there was a dollar amount associated with it.
For the, let's see, in the town manager's report, you gave us the municipal brownfield.
That's just the grant application number. I'm not sure what the question is for what number.
I guess I'm trying to understand. I know we're just discussing the timeline, so this might not be the appropriate time. And you did explain to me a little bit. You know, the town manager checks in with all of us, which is nice before a meeting, and we have the opportunity to ask questions, which is great. But I'm still trying, I guess, to understand how we went from about $200,000 to, what was it, 547?
541.
541.
Yeah, if we're talking about the DEC grant application, I don't have the exact reason why, other than environmental, and it was bigger than we thought in terms of what they had to do. This wasn't part of the plan originally. So now, you know, from a constructional integrity standpoint, they've got to take it down and they've got to add, you know, the sampling and any other environmental remediation, so that increases the number in terms of what you need to do. So I don't have the breakdown. I can get that from the economic director, and I can pass that along. I just don't have it in front of me. That's why.
It's just without going into closed door conversations, which isn't. But we brought our closed door conversations out here in the vote initially, right? I just don't ever want to say the wrong thing out here. I just know that we discussed different numbers, and it's significantly different. And I'm just trying to, you know.
So if I could just clarify.
Yeah, thank you.
$200,000 was the amount of money that we would have had to spend to secure the building. If we didn't demo, that was the Band-Aid cost. Eventually, that was going to be wasted because we were going to have to then go in and redo the building anyway. So that $200,000 was to make it safe, because there's structural issues And so that's what that was for. That had nothing to do with the 541. The 541 is not coming from these ECD as another part of the funding for the project, which I'm sure includes the fact that we're going to demo now. But we're going to go to bid on the demo. We're not going to have this Manafort's. We're going to go to a competitive bid on the demo, right, Mike?
Yeah.
So it's.
You answered it. That's what I need.
I don't know what the numbers
how we
are.
got
That's
from
how, yeah.
200,000.
The 200 would have
over
been
half a
a
million.
wasted 200 to make it safe to the 541. Part of that's the demo, and then the rest of it's just because the funding keeps rolling.
Thank you.
So, and just to clarify for everyone out there watching, it's obviously the building is in great disrepair. In fact, we're getting to the point where it's unsafe. The reason we have the fencing around it to try and protect people. What our decision revolved around is securing the building, which would have cost $200,000, and then some months later, we would probably just go ahead and knock the building down. The council at the time decided that wasn't the direction we wanted to go. We wanted to try to secure the Department of Economic and Development, Community Development grant to just knock the building down and not spend the $200,000 to secure it, only to later knock it down. So,
actually, Mr. Chairman, I have to clarify. I don't want you to make a misrepresentation. The $200,000 was to make it safe, and then they were still going to keep the facade. So what was going to happen, all the safety measures were going to be undone, keep the facade, not demo. So that's what the...
Thank you.
It was still going to be a waste of money because they were going to have to undo that, but then we're going to knock the building down. They're going to try to keep the facade. So the choice that we did was don't waste the 200, knock it down.
Use the
instead.
grant to
knock it down.
do
right.
what we need to do, as opposed to...
So I didn't want you to...
spending. Okay.
That was,
No, thank you. It doesn't hurt to clarify. Any comments or questions? I will just address, we've had a request that, myself and Councilwoman Christopher not vote on this. I would just go to, both town attorneys' opinions. This particular vote, there's no personal or financial gain being acted on tonight. I've been up front since, what was it? I can't remember. It was 2019 when we actually started this, or 2021 when this process started. But I just don't see a need for me to recuse myself. I will be voting on this. Certainly will stay on top of it. I can, and I would ask the town attorney once again to take a look and submit an opinion.
I really could submit an opinion. I'm not prepared to now because
right, but
I
going
serious
forward,
concern on the adverse consequences of a no vote. However, I'd have to take a close look at the ethics statute and the requirement that if you disclose, you can still vote. I can't give an opinion on
and that's fine, but that would be something I would ask. Just if it helps clarify or for transparency's sake, I would like to see that.
I can do that. I can absolutely do that and give you I can give you a memo that with just basic rules all the time, not just with this one situation.
Okay, thank you. Any other comments or questions?
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
Yeah. Hey, as I said before, this is an amendment on the timeline. It does allow us to give the time that's needed to complete, critical steps and to have the project continue moving forward. I think it's definitely the best interest of the town to approve execute the amendment.
All right, anyone else? Any other comments or questions? All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Yes. We will go now to item 3.
Mr. Chair,
Councilman Gedman.
I'd like to make a motion to award bid number 2027-03E, reconstruction of sidewalks on Fleetwood Drive and Hilltop Road to D&P Morass Construction, Ludlow, Massachusetts, in the amount of $115,675.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any comments or questions? I just, real quick, I noticed that we had a low bid of 115, but the high bid was what, in the 320 range?
330, I think.
Or 330? Like, what?
Yes.
Is there any reason? That just seems like a very wide range. I know they can vary, but.
Yeah, John, John is
Oh,
here.
John's here.
John's here.
You almost got away tonight
but
without talking.
I'm not sure, John had, it's hard to say. I'm not sure he publicly wants to say.
Oh, and that's, I'm not,
No.
I'm just
saying,
curious, yeah.
It's sort of a colorful remark in terms of the response from the contractor who's from Massachusetts
Yes,
and doing work in Connecticut.
yeah.
And his experience and history is such that when John probed him on the pricing and costs, said something to the effect that you're getting ripped off.
Oh.
And that just remains to be seen. I mean, John can speak to, if you have questions in terms of he, was probing the company in terms of, because he saw the same discrepancy, but there is a history. They're not like an unknown quantity. They've done work here.
Okay.
And proceed, and we're, fingers crossed that again, they have to have a bond and so forth. So I'll defer to John.
Well, you answered my question, unless, John, you want to say something. No? That's your, all right, thank you. All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item 4.
If I could just go back, I don't want to open a can of worms here, but the process is such that, we're really hoping that he does a phenomenal job at that price. It just gives us a little bit more flexibility in terms of looking at more than we would originally look at.
Okay.
So, we'll stretch as far as we can go.
Okay. Thank you. All right, item number 4.
Mr. Chair.
Yes, Councilwoman Tompkins.
Motion to award bid number 2027-05S, PHS Theater Stage Floor Replacement under CRPZC's Easy IQC program to Millennium Builders, Torrington, Connecticut, in the amount of $52,372.81.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any comments or questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item 5.
Mr. Chair.
Councilman Genneman.
Motion to ratify waiving the bid process and awarding bid number 2027-02, trash and recycling containers, to Schaefer Plastics North America, LLC, Charlotte, North Carolina, as a sole source in the amount of $35,831.84.
Second.
Motion in a couple seconds. Any comments or questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item number 6.
Mr. Chair,
Councilwoman Christopher.
motion to adopt the Town Council Fiscal Policy Police Vehicle Replacement Funding Policy effective immediately.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any comments or questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. And finally, item 7.
Mr. Chair,
Councilman Hurley.
a motion to approve the tax refunds is listed on the addendum.
Second.
Any questions on the tax refunds this evening? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. That completes new business. Other discussions of interest?
Mr. Chairman, I have one brief item. I won't belabor it. I was hoping that maybe we could slip this in tonight, but given the late hour, I will defer to the next meeting. But I just want to give you a heads up that I'm working with Joe Alasso, Superintendent of Water Pollution Control Facility, about the property, a GE property, 10 New Britain Avenue. In essence, they've had a stormwater, or I guess not stormwater, but a discharge permit for the town, and they've been using over a decade. And there seems to be, as part of their oversight in terms of cleanup, seems to be a lot more left in terms of what they have to do. So Joe has reached out to say, listen, there's no more free ride. And so we've come to the table in terms of a agreement for revenue, in terms of an agreement that I'd like to pass by the council and have Morris's review. A pretty simple, straightforward, about $60,000 a year in terms of compensation. So I'll have that ready for you at the next meeting.
August meeting? Okay. Thank you. Any other discussions of interest from anyone? We do have a matter appropriate for executive session tonight. We do anticipate coming out of executive session and taking a vote or making a motion to vote. Can't tell you how long we'll be in executive session, but for those that want to wait and see what we vote on, you're welcome to stay. Otherwise, I'll entertain a motion to go into executive session,
So moved.
Second.
and that's regarding police contract negotiations.
And if we could include Rob Buden and Stacy Buden as well.
Yep. And you will not be there.
Thank you.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, we'll give everyone a few minutes, and we will come back out. All right, so we're back in session. Anyone care to make a motion?
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, go ahead.
Motion to authorize the town manager to enter into a agreement for the police union contract.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any comments or questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Motion to adjourn. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
We are adjourned, and we're back August
7? Nope, 6.
August 17th.
17th, August 17th, unless we have a special meeting before that, but
Possible.
potentially. Thank you.